Welcome to Money Matters, the weekly currency roundup podcast brought to you by IsraTransfer. Whether you're a seasoned investor, an expat managing your finances, or just curious about the world of currency exchange, you're in the right place. Each week, IsraTransfer's co-founder and head of trading, Daniel Engelsman, will inform us of the latest trends, insights, and market movements that could impact your money. From currency fluctuations to economic news, we're here to equip you with everything you need to navigate the ever-changing landscape of foreign exchange. So let's dive into this week's roundup. Daniel, what's the latest update on the exchange rate?
Welcome back for another week of slight analysis of the exchange rates in Israel. We have seen a pretty quiet week in terms of the exchange rates and the fluctuations in the rate. The end of last week, the major news was in terms of sterling, where they cut interest rates in the UK, which really should have made the exchange rate fall even more for sterling against the shekel. But as we've seen over the course of the week, things have kind of leveled out and have been pretty stable throughout all currency pairs. We have seen dollar shekel as low as 3.52 and as high as 3.6. And at the time of recording this, we're around 3.57, which is not a big range over the course of the week.
And what should we be looking at for next week?
My feel, and this is the time of recording this, and things can change very quickly, is that we're in a waiting pattern and it's all down to politics. Now, if we do see the continuation of the ceasefire and things stay calm and stable, I believe that the exchange rates will stay around these kind of levels and that the shekel will remain strong. If we see the good chance of the ceasefire ending and the resumption of any kind of conflict or war, the shekel, in theory, should and probably will weaken and go back to the 3.7 level. So it's really a case of waiting and seeing. I'm not going to talk, my beliefs in terms of politics, but with Donald Trump speaking his mind and trying to put through different ideas, it really could be anyone's guess where this moves to next. But the exchange rate will be affected by what goes on in terms of what we see on the ground here in Israel. So very hard to predict. And, obviously no one really wants us to be, getting a stronger dollar against the shekel based off of war. But that's the reality.
How does this impact those looking to trade funds or purchase a property in Israel?
So how does this affect you when you're thinking about purchasing a property? The main thing to do is to make sure when you're budgeting that you're not just looking at the exchange rate at the time of purchasing. The exchange rate can be very volatile, and you need to really consider whether you can afford the property. If the exchange rate was, instead of 3.6, 3.1, would that mean that you wouldn't be able to afford the property? And if that's the case, you need to then think about whether you have access to funds now to convert to protect yourself against it, or if you're just going to take a chance. Some people just take the view that, the rate is 3.6 now. If I convert some money now and some in a bit, I'm going to average a decent rate. But it doesn't always work that way. You just have to have it in your mind when you're purchasing a property that the exchange rate can have a big impact on the affordability of any given property. We'll speak again next week. Thank you so much.
And that wraps up this week's Currency Weekly Roundup. We hope you found this episode informative and engaging. If you enjoyed today's discussion, be sure to subscribe and let us know if you have any questions you'd like Daniel to answer. For more information on currency exchange and to stay updated with the latest trends, visit us at IsraTransfer.com. Join us next week for more insights and analysis. Until then, stay informed and take care. Disclaimer. This podcast provides general information about currency exchange and buying or selling currency. It does not constitute legal, financial, or investment advice. Listeners should make independent decisions and seek professional guidance. The company is not liable for any actions taken based on this content.